Here at AlphaWatch, our favorite biotech and healthcare fund boasts more than just a savvy sub-advisor. This fund has got Ph.D. scientists and researchers nitpicking the details behind every investment. Today, it's my pleasure to meet with the fund's assistant portfolio manager, Anna Damato, to learn a little bit about her and to find out how a woman with a Ph.D. in neuroscience ended up in finance. Hi, Anna. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, great to be with you.
As I said, we love the fund as well as the biotech and healthcare space in general. And I have so many questions for you. But first, I have to know, was it always science for you? What attracted you to it?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. I actually have been into science for a long time, but it all started with being outside. So I've always been interested in nature. And as I started going to school and learning biology and physics, I realized that those concepts explain a lot of what I'm seeing outside in the natural world. And so I think when I officially decided to focus on science, it was biology in particular, and that's why.
Awesome. How did you choose your specialized interest in neuro-oncology?
Yeah, so it is a big jump from biology to neuro-oncology. I went to college at the College of Worcester, which is a small liberal arts college in Ohio. I was a biology major, and I started out with plants, actually. And as you might know, plants don't have brains. I had a wonderful research mentor. She taught me how to extract DNA, so genetic material from plant leaves, and asked me to take care of greenhouse plants. And plants are great. They're essential for life on Earth. But I really wanted to learn more about mammals, so animals. And this steered me away from plants and led to questions about behavior in the brain. And so I changed my major from biology to neuroscience. And at Worcester, we do senior theses. And so my senior thesis revolved around the impact of surface water contaminants like antidepressants and heavy metals on the behavior of a nematode, so a little worm found naturally in surface water environments. And that's called C. elegans. And so this was actually my first foray into applied neuroscience, so behavioral neuroscience. And it wasn't until my first year at WashU in the Herzog lab that I actually started thinking about cancer or oncology. A program that had been up and running in the lab was researching circadian or time of day dependent medicine in glioblastoma. And this is a devastating, common primary adult brain tumor. And this really piqued my interest and became the subject of my neuro-oncology focused PhD thesis. So just a lot of pieces falling into place over time.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. What led you from there to a career that blends science and investing?
Yeah, another question I get a lot. During my PhD, I started volunteering with a student-run nonprofit consulting group. This is called the Balsa Group, which operates mostly out of WashU, but also with other universities in St. Louis. And they consult for small biotech and life science companies. And it's about 12-week projects that are done in a team format, typically helping companies with market sizing, competitor research, or other strategic questions. And this really helped me get thinking, okay, this is how a small company develops a drug. It got me interested in the business side of science. And I kind of continued this throughout my PhD and kept working on some coursework. So WashU offers something called an entrepreneurship citation. And that's in addition to your PhD coursework, you can take some classes through the MBA program at the Olin School. And so I did that and participated in the leadership program. So again, all these little bits and pieces kind of coming together. And through those programs, networking, right? So important. I met another student who was actually participating in an internship at Kennedy Capital. So this is the Biotech Equity Research Fellowship, which I now run here at the firm, which I love. And it was actually a 2-year internship at KCM that convinced me that investing is for me.
So you mentioned the biotech fellowship program. I find that fascinating. How does that program find new candidates?
Yeah, we're always looking, and we do cast a very wide net. So everything from student-directed job boards to advertising through the Balsa Group, like I mentioned, at WashU. And I also do a lot of direct networking with students and faculty at WashU locally here in St. Louis, because I want people to know year-round that this opportunity exists, because it is quite unique for PhD students to have that chance to look into equity research. And since we only have 4 spots at any given time, and fellows kind of choose their own journey and can stay for a year or more, depending on their professional development goals, we're often only looking to fill 1 or 2 spots a year. And so we can really be patient and selective and wait for the best candidates.
Now, you went from being a fellow in the program to actually running the program itself. That's quite an achievement. So, what's next for you in terms of career goals or mileposts?
Yeah, well, up until a month ago, I would have said I hope to be promoted to assistant portfolio manager, but that actually just happened. Super thrilling. So most immediately related to being APM, I really just want to gain more experience learning about portfolio construction and doing more client-facing activities, in addition to continuing to hone my stock picking skills. Here at Kennedy, there's no shortage of wisdom and experience for me to absorb.
That's true. And speaking of stock picking skills, the big question is, how do you know when to invest or when to stay away?
Yeah, such a difficult question. If there was a straightforward answer to this, I don't think my job would exist. So very situation dependent. And sometimes it's very simple, such as concerns about a company not having sufficient cash to reach a pipeline data point, in which case you definitely want to stay away. Other times it can be very complex. And so an example of a complex decision might be one that involves multiple moving parts. So especially in today's environment, there could be a mix of clinical trial risk. So does the drug even work? Regulatory risk, does the change in administration impact how the FDA views drugs or how these drugs might be reimbursed by Medicare or Medicaid? And of course, financial risk, with high interest rates, is the cost of capital too high and will funding be hard to come by in the future? And so in situations like this, we employ all of our resources at the firm. So this might be expert networks, experienced team members, valuation analysis, scientific analysis, all these things to assess the risk reward on each part of the equation.
Wow. Well, that's why we leave those decisions to people like you and your peers at Kennedy. So this was so great, Anna. Thank you again so much for spending time with us today.
Yeah, great to talk to you. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye bye.